Live once again, back. UFC Vegas 3. Want to say last week, I do believe that TJ Dillashaw falsely won that fight. I think that Corey Sandhagen won rounds 2, 3, and 5, or 2, 4, and 5. I can't remember. I'd have to go back and watch it again to see if it was the third or the fourth round. I can't really remember, but definitely 3 rounds to 2 Sandhagen. It is what it is. I can see why they gave it to TJ Dillashaw in his return fight. That is not why we are here today to talk about. We are here to talk about UFC Vegas 33. Sean Strickland taking on Uriah Hall, who this fight card has been absolutely cursed as far as co-main event goes. The fight was the co-main event was originally supposed to be Shamil Brikmatov versus Chris Dawkins. I think somebody had COVID protocol, so that fight got moved a few weeks. I think Roman Kopylov versus Sam Alvey was supposed to step up as a co-main event, and Kopylov had visa issues and is not able to get to the States, so that fight moved. And then most recently, as of today, the new co-main event was supposed to be Nicholas Stolze versus Monir Lazez, but Monir Lazez also is coming down with some visa issues. He's not able to get to Vegas in time, so Stolze will now be taking on Jared Gooden. That is looking like that will be taken from the co-main event, and now it is looking like the co-main event will be Kang Kang versus Hana Yaya, which originally was set for the main card, but not co-main event. So an already somewhat weak of a fight card taking a little bit of a hit here. I'm a little congested, as everybody can hear. It's fucking humid as hell. House is cold as hell with the AC, so I'm back and forth. But we're going to manage. So we're going to start off Bryan Barberena versus Jason Witt. Bryan Barberena is 15-7, 10 knockouts on his career. He's only been knocked out twice. That was by Vicente Luque and Randy Brown. And he beat Anthony Ivy by decision in his last fight. He is 6-5 in the UFC, and he will come into the fight with a 2-inch height and a 2-inch reach advantage over Jason Witt, who is 18-7, 8 submission wins. 5 out of 7 his losses via TKO. He's 1-2 in the UFC with TKO losses over Takashi Sato and Matthew Smelsberger, and then a submission win over Cole Williams. This one seems kind of easy. Witt hasn't nearly faced the level of competition that Bryan Barberena has went up against. Bryan Barberena has great takedown defense. He's a great striker, and it looks like that's what Jason Witt's weakness would be going against strikers. It's given up such a reach and a height advantage. Excuse me, I'm going to go with Bryan Barberena pretty easy here. Zaruka Adashev versus Ryan Benoit. Adashev is 16-3 as a pro kickboxer, 3-3 only as a pro mixed martial artist. He's 0-2 in the UFC. He got knocked out against Tyson Nam, and then he lost the decision to Sue Maridudi. 2 out of 3 his wins via knockout, and he has 3 fights in Bellator, all wins prior to his 2 fights in the UFC. He's going up against Benoit, who is 10-7. So as far as MMA goes, he is 11 fights more experienced than Adashev. 8 of his wins via knockout. He's never been knocked out in his career. He's been submitted in 2 out of 7 his losses. 3-5 in the UFC is his record. He has TKO wins over Sergio Pettis, but that was 2015. He's currently on a 2-fight losing streak with a split decision to Akiri Healy and a unanimous decision loss to Tim Elliott in his most recent fight, which Tim Elliott, I think, was a little bit of a jump in competition for a guy like Ryan Benoit. I think they should have kind of moved him a little bit slower. But the experience factor with him and the fact that he has fought higher level of competitions, in my opinion, he's a striker. He's going up against kickboxer. He's going to play directly into his striking. I'm going to go Ryan Benoit there. Next, I did Kang Ho Kang or Kun Ho Kang versus Hana Yaya. Kang's 18-8-1, 11 wins by submission, 6-2-1 in the UFC. He's on a 3-fight winning streak right now with submissions over Tehuto Ishihara, a split decision over Brandon Davis, and a split decision over Ling Pingwang. In December of 2019 was his last fight. He's going to have a 3-inch height and 4-inch reach advantage over Hana Yaya, but he's only a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, where Hana Yaya is a second-degree black belt in jiu-jitsu and also a black belt in Muay Thai. He's 27-10, or he's 20... Damn, I can't tell if I wrote 27 or 21, so we're going to go 27. 10, 1, and 1. That don't seem right. Okay, 21, 10, 1, and 1. 12, 4, 1, and 1 in the UFC. 1 draw, 1 no contest. He won his last fight via submission over Ray Rodriguez, March 2021. So he's fought a year and 3 to 4 months more recently than Kang has. He's a better grappler, where Kang is majority a submission artist and a grappler. I think that one also is pretty easy, although he's coming at it somewhat of an underdog. Hana Yaya there for me. Cheyenne Buys against Gloria de Paula. Another seems easy, but they got Cheyenne Buys as the favorite. I'm not too sure why. Buys is 5-2, 0-1 in the UFC. He's got a decision loss to Montserrat Ruiz in her debut. She's 4-5. 4 out of 5 of her wins are decisions, and both losses are by decision. She has a 2-inch height and a 4.5-inch reach disadvantage going against Gloria de Paula, who is an amazing striker. She's 5-3, 0-1 in the UFC. She got decision loss to Jinyin Frey in her debut. She has 3 out of 5 of her wins via knockout, and all 3 of her losses are via decision. She's never been finished. She's got great striking. Cheyenne Bai is going to come in shooting for takedowns, trying to get the fight into the clinch, and she's going up against somebody who has a 4.5-inch reach advantage over her. I think the striking way outdoes the grappling in this fight, so I think Gloria de Paula is a pretty easy lock there. Co-main event would have been Munir Lazez versus Nicholas Stolze, so instead we're going to do Nicholas Stolze versus Jared Gooden. We're going to give our opinion on this. Stolze 12-4, 0-1 in the UFC. He's got a decision loss to Ramazan Emeev, and that was 1 year ago was his debut. He took 1 year since his debut. Has never been finished in his career. Has 3 wins by knockout and 5 by submission. And we going up against Jared Gooden, who I think, if I'm not mistaken, Jared Gooden has only fought 1 time. Oh, excuse me. Once or twice in the UFC. Twice. He lost decisions to Alan Joban and Abrakar Nurmagomedov. Total record 17-5. Right? Or am I tripping? 17-5. The guy has 7 knockout wins, 7 submission wins, so 14 out of his 17 wins being finishes. He's only been knocked out once in his career. All of his other losses come by decision. That 1 knockout loss was against Bruno Oliveira, which Bruno Oliveira, I believe, is also currently... Oh, no, never mind. He got knocked out by Olberg in the Contender Series. That's where I know him from. And then and he's been knocked out in LFA just recently. So he probably not on the radar for the UFC, but he's fought plenty of guys that have UFC-type level talent or future talent. Marcel Stamps is a very power puncher. Trent McCowan is on his way up there. I think he's on a Trent McCowan 2-fight losing streak. He hasn't fought since the Jared Gooden fight. Jay Jackson, Will Santiago, Wesley Golden is he's one of the most veteran fighters in that division. 27. Let's see, 6 foot, 77-inch reach. Six foot, 77-inch reach to Stolze, who has a 6'1", 75, so giving up a little bit of a reach advantage, but an inch taller. He's also fought guys, top level guys, 16-5, 3-4, 8-2. He doesn't have one of those padded records that we say. I think Jared Gooden. I'm just going to lean towards Jared Gooden because I'm cool with Jared Gooden. I have a somewhat personal relationship with Jared Gooden. He's close. I've interviewed him. I'm extremely biased towards Jared Gooden, and I'm not afraid to say it. It's the way it is sometimes, man. Sometimes you're just biased towards these guys. Sometimes, my buddy Ian was fighting. I don't care if Ian's fighting Conor McGregor, and Ian hasn't been training but a couple of weeks, and Conor McGregor is double champ. I don't give a fuck. I'm picking Ian because it's my boy. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of where my logic goes with that. So I'm going to go Jared Gooden. Uriah Hall, Sean Strickland is probably one of my favorite middleweight bouts coming up right now. 17-9 is Uriah Hall. He's on a 4-fight winning streak right now with a knockout over Bavon Lewis, a split decision over Antonio Carlos Jr., TKO over Anderson Silva, and then we all know that what just happened recently with Chris Weidman and the leg injury, which is why Uriah Hall is taking such a quick turnaround. He's got 15 wins by knockout, has never been submitted in his career. He's a second-degree black belt in karate and a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. He's going up against brown belt in jiu-jitsu, Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland is 23-3 in his career, never been submitted, only been knocked out once, and that was by – no, not once, right? Yes, once, and that was by Elizio Zaleski dos Santos. That was 2018. He's on a 4-fight winning streak right now with TKOs over Nordine Taleb, decision over Jack Marshman, TKO over Brandon Allen, and then a decision over Christoph Jutko. 10 out of 23 of his wins via knockout, and he has only lost to Dos Santos, Kamaru Usman, and Santiago Ponzinibbio. That's a murderer's row of guys to lose to. It just goes to show that he is one of those top guys in the UFC. All three of those losses, though, coming at welterweight. He's now fighting at middleweight. A little bit of a difference. But generally the same size guys. He's not giving up a serious size advantage to Uriah Hall. So there's that. But, oh no. Still going? All right, cool. I think I hit the button on accident. I got Sean Strickland. I think it's going to be a classic striker boxing versus striker kickboxing, whereas Uriah Hall does a lot more spinning kicks and he utilizes his leg kicks and just kicks in general along with his punches, whereas Sean Strickland is straight up banger. He likes to box when he gets in there. Head movement, footwork, classic boxer when he gets into the cage. So I'm going to go Sean Strickland. I like it. He's got more of a personality, in my opinion, than Uriah Hall does. Rest of the card pans out. Wu Yanan versus Nico Montano. Maleskic, Badahashan taking on Colin Anglin. Chris Grutzemaker versus Rafa Garcia. Danny Chavez is taking on Kai Kamaka III. Jinian Frey, who we talked about earlier, is going against Ashley Yoder this weekend. Ronnie Lawrence going against Trevin Jones. And then open up the card, Philip Rao is going against Orion Kosi. We talked about all the guys that fell off this card. The co-main event fiasco that was supposed to go down. I wouldn't mind keeping Jared Gooden as a co-main event against Stolze. I think Stolze's got a very exciting fighting style, same as Jared Gooden. And I think that fight's going to be a banger. I think replacing it with Hana Yaya versus Kang is a huge risk, because Hana Yaya versus Kang could be an extremely exciting grappling bout, or one of the other guys can have a serious advantage grappling and hold the other guy down, and they can be neutralized. Like the guy that's on the bottom can stop from being submitted over and over again, but it could just be one of those, boring, hold the guy down, wrestle, get him tired type of fight. So I think you're going a serious gamble, taking Stolze Gooden out of that spot and putting Yaya Kang into the co-main event spot. But we'll see what happens this weekend. We'll be back next weekend, or next Tuesday, sorry. to preview what card? To preview 265, August 7th, 265, Lewis versus Gane, Amanda Nunes versus Juliana Pena, Jose Aldo, Pedro Munoz, Michael Chiesa, Vicente Luque, and Song Yadong versus Casey Kenny. It's got an amazing prelim set up for this. Bobby Green, Rafael Fiziev, Ed Herman, Alonzo Menifield's a great fight. Miles Johns, Anderson dos Santos, a great one we were supposed to see last weekend. A bunch of good fights on this card. Kovacevic, Jessica Penne, Angela Hill, Tisha Torres. 265 is definitely something to look forward to in Houston, Texas. And also, I don't know if this is news or not, but they are going, UFC 268 is going to be November 6th, New York City, Madison Square Garden, Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington, the second fight, which is going to be a really good one. Johnny Campbell, Nick Angelo. It's Cage Warriors, whatever. But yeah, we'll see you next Tuesday. Stay barbecued. You know what the fuck the deal is.